Hey, welcome to another Cat Country KATcast. Kevin Hilly along with Erin Hart, Jordan J, and oh boy, Erin, a special guest.
That's right. I had to spend a whole week with him. Now I can't get away from him. It's my big brother, Clint.
Hello.
Welcome, Clint.
Which, by
Always
the
fun when we
way,
have a guest,
when we flew back into Chicago, the Starbucks girls spelled it Klent. They Kardashianized it.
Welcome back to the States.
It's good to be back.
Maybe it was to celebrate the end of Lent, so it was Clint.
Oh,
well,
I don't think that was it. I don't think that was it.
They weren't
no.
thinking that.
Belly button Clint.
Yeah, that
No, I don't see it.
That wasn't it. No. Mm-mm.
So I cannot imagine what a trip in Ireland must be with this guy. I can't.
Well, I mean, it was great until we got onto the Aer Lingus flight, and we were like this the whole time, and we were trying to eat.
Yeah.
And yeah, it
They
was a little
still do
rough.
the Liam Neeson intro on Aer Lingus? Is
No.
that still a thing?
No.
They don't do it anymore?
I was looking forward to that in August. Because he was like, oh, wait till you see. They say Aer Lingus and Liam Neeson, welcome to Aer Lingus.
We just weren't expecting, we got on
I was so disappointed.
No, we didn't get that. We
Yeah.
got two flight attendants that went through everything. Clint watched a Liam Neeson movie.
I did. Does that count?
It does. It does count to me.
It was a bad movie. Didn't like it.
But it was like Liam Neeson gave the announcement. It's the weirdest thing. He was like, welcome to Aer Lingus. And like this whole thing. And he did the, I was like, whoa.
We didn't get the upgraded package. Did we?
We did not. We did not. But, as far as traveling with your sibling goes, I think it went pretty smooth. Now, immediately on the Aer Lingus flight, Clint made the wrong choice of ordering chicken on the flight when I got beef. And then he smelled mine and goes, that looks pretty good.
No.
Can I try a bite? So here I'm trying to finagle. Here we go. With my tiny wooden spoon. And he's like, oh, that is better. Here you go. I'll take yours.
She traded with me.
We did a lot of trading.
Here's the woman with the, what's your disease called? You can't eat beef as much?
Oh, not Hashimoto's.
Horrendous is what it sounds like.
Well, it is hemochromatosis.
There it is.
Here,
Yeah.
give me the beef, sure.
But I was
Saved
doing
your
all.
life.
I was doing all the things on this trip, all the things that I shouldn't have, and that's probably why I feel like garbage now. But boy, was it fun at the time.
It was, boy, it was.
I said it was like, because I was, like I said, when Jordan had first told me about Aer Lingus, he was, oh, you're really going to love it. And I did. I loved the flight. You're right, the seats, and I'm only 5'8". You guys are tall. Even I and my wife, we were sitting there, and it's like, I would like to be able to stretch back a little bit. And you can't, because you're always conscious of the people behind you.
Nuh-uh, that's not true. Because on the flight out there, the woman in front of me decided to recline the entire time.
She's in your lap.
So, I've never been claustrophobic before in my entire life. And for that brief moment, when all that kind of went down, I immediately got super hot. I'm kind of looking around like, I don't know if I can do that at this point for another 5.5 hours.
Okay.
With her in my lap.
What time did you all get there? What time was it there?
It
y'all
was,
landed?
but what?
I don't know.
10 till 5 in the morning.
Okay.
That's about,
Yeah.
that's about the time
Oh,
we
yeah,
got
it
there.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clint, I know you've been to Ireland multiple times before this, right? Erin, this was your 1st trip.
Yeah.
Did your heart skip a little bit, as soon as the plane showed that you had crossed into Ireland? They have a little map there showing where you are. To me, I was like, oh my God, we're in Ireland. I don't believe it.
No, for me, I was thinking, thank goodness this woman's going to be out of my lap soon. Because it was uncomfortable. When you can see the top of somebody's head.
That's bad.
And you can tell how often they color their hair.
Oh, great.
Too close for a stranger.
Something she did not bring up was the fact that I was supposed to be sitting there, but we
was.
switched seats.
Again, a lot of switching.
Wow.
And I didn't
Who
say
had the
nothing.
window?
Right here.
Who had the
Oh,
window?
it wasn't a window. We had an
Wasn't a
aisle,
window.
and then we had
So I gave up my aisle seat for this one.
my legs are longer.
What a good
Barely.
sister.
I'm longer than you.
She's like, you owe me, Clint. You owe me big time.
Something my wife and I noticed too. We looked out the window and for the longest time, it was like the sun was just stagnant. We felt like the sun didn't move. We're just like, I feel like the sun it's been there forever. It's just
Right.
it's like,
Well, if and I told Erin about this too. When you fly, they make fake night for you.
Yeah.
So they make you
They do.
close the windows, turn off the lights.
Yeah.
Okay, it's sleepy pie time.
Yeah.
It's not nighttime.
Yeah.
It's nighttime, I said.
we're gonna pretend like it's night.
That's
Well,
right.
it's
it wasn't.
when there's more room in the bathroom on a plane than as you're actually sitting.
Yeah.
I almost kind of looked forward to getting up and going to the bathroom.
gonna
So I'm like,
finish
I can
handicap
stretch my
bathroom.
I'm
legs.
going to finish the rest of the flight here. Is that okay?
They
Yeah.
give you the little blanket and pillow too.
Yes,
Yeah.
they did. They did do that. I have no idea what happened to my blanket. The pillow did come in quite handy. But we had to spend 4 hours in the airport once we landed. So, here's everybody all giddy and they're getting ready to go start their lovely day. We're like, well, where are we going to post up? Because we got some time to kill. Yeah. And at 6 o'clock, where this corner that we decided to go to had this little cafe, this little fancy cafe. And we were getting mochas and these croissants that had this dark chocolatey cream.
Chocolate.
Oh
really?
My God.
Right on top. Delicious. Oh.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And so after a couple hours went by, I was like, well, maybe I should get us another one of those. Instead, I got a plain one because I thought it just might be a little too wacky to get two of the chocolate.
I know you said the chicken and the beef and everything, but the meal on the flight was good, right?
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, it was pretty, better than the little pack of peanuts or the little, actually, they don't even do peanuts anymore. They do like little pretzels or
those
whatever.
Pretzels were good. Had like some garlicky stuff on it. I liked it.
Yeah. I say that I appreciate that Aer Lingus, it wasn't like, whether you're Spirit Airlines or whatever. It's like, I'm sorry, this is the last scrap of peanuts we have.
Well, no, I can see why Kevin was impressed. First off, Kevin made it sound like we were going to be sailing on the Titanic, flying Aer Lingus. Like it was going to be like all this luxury, like I thought we were going to have room but I will tell you, I've never been fed 3 times on a flight before.
Yeah, they do a good job.
And they even gave us like little croissant sandwiches or something at one point, and I'm just like, I can't keep. Why do they keep feeding us? This is too much.
They're fattening us up.
They really were.
Next flight you get on is gonna be. You're like, this sucks.
I've been spoiled for
I mean, now flying back with them, it was great because the plane was a little newer. It was a little more legroom, little more width this way, not much.
No,
but the
first one
was
going
really
out.
good.
The first one going out.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to
From
watch
Chicago
a movie.
to
Dublin. I'm trying to watch a movie. Okay, and they give you the ear pods, but it's a dual prong on the plugging it in, but you got to hold it and pull it.
Yeah.
And I got to hang on.
So that's what we were doing.
If I let it go, it goes out.
You couldn't hear it. Yeah.
So the whole flight, I'm like. Death grip hanging on to that stupid
So
thing.
it's kind of a janky setup.
If I
Big
had
time.
one complaint about Aer Lingus, and this is, I think, a minor thing, but on the way back, I bought the Wi-Fi package, where it's not just you connect with their thing, but you can actually you can surf the web and everything. Okay, so I got that, and about halfway through, it just stopped working completely. And so I said to the flight attendant, excuse me, I bought this thing and it's not working. She goes, oh, they'll give your money back. Just tell her. And they did. They refunded. I had to do it online and everything, but they immediately, like that day, they
Kevin,
gave me my money back.
Wasn't it enough that you were up in the air flying in metal and bolts? Now you're complaining about Wi-Fi?
I know, we're so spoiled. We're so spoiled. It's who was the comedian? Louis C.K.
Yeah, Louis C.K.
said that we should be going, we're going 500 miles an hour in the air. My Wi-Fi's not working.
So honestly, my husband and my brother's wife, I think they were a little nervous about us traveling together. Not that we were going to get in trouble, but that we're the kind of people, well, where are we going? Great, you plan it. Tell me how much I owe you, and we'll meet you there. Yeah, we had to navigate everything ourselves.
It was Magoo and Magoo.
Yeah.
I must know, and I think I'm going to direct this question to Clint.
Yeah.
Because he was the ringleader with this. How many pubs did you visit? How many Guinnesses did you enjoy?
I knew you was going to ask me that, and I said to myself this morning, I had better look it up. And
then he didn't.
I did not. So I'm going to say, not too bad, maybe 35.
35 Guinnesses or 35 pubs?
Pubs. Yeah, so
that's
not
impressive.
Bad. Yeah, and there's like only 1,000 pubs in Dublin alone.
Well, but we would stop in these little towns on day trips, and we'd have like so much free time.
Right.
Yep.
And most people, they were going shopping. Well, he made me just pack a backpack, so I didn't really have a lot of room for tchotchkes and all kinds of stuff.
Right,
so
right.
it was, let's go find some place to get a drink. And that's what we did.
That was
what we did.
That was one of my next questions is how did you guys do with just a backpack for each of you?
Well, I've done a whole month.
Yeah.
In just a little, 8 by 13 backpack.
Just turn the underwear inside out or whatever, right?
No, what he
Get rid of
does is he packs stuff that he doesn't plan on ever bringing back. So if it has a little tear,
So
if it
half your
fits
wardrobe is
weird,
still in Ireland?
we would get ready to leave, and you'd look over at the trash can, and what he couldn't fit in the trash can, he'd just thrown near the trash
Look, that's
can.
a good strategy, in my opinion.
It is.
My
but-
backpack got lighter.
Yeah.
I can see the maze. Man, but somebody's left a racing stripe underwear here. Oh, just burn it.
That'll be fine.
Yeah.
That'll be
Well,
fine.
one thing
Patty don't mind.
One thing I didn't realize about this trip was I didn't realize how fancy it was going to be. I mean, you hear a bus tour and you think, that's not going to be that big a deal. Like we were on the super nice motor coach. I mean, even had a bathroom, which, hey, guess who's the only person on board who used that?
Hey,
Several times.
I would want to break that in too, though. I really would.
It was about the size of not even a coat closet.
No,
it was so
it was
tiny.
horrible. My head's bent like this.
They still had a mural of that giant squirrel on that building. And there's like this. It's weird. It's like this weird.
Is this in Dublin?
which-
Where
Yeah,
are
it was
we
in
talking?
Dublin. It was in Dublin. It's like they had this like giant squirrel on like the side of this one building. It's like it's made out of something.
I'm not remembering a
You know, it's-
squirrel.
okay,
Doesn't
okay.
mean the squirrel
Apparently
didn't exist.
We didn't get the whole tour, sis.
Right.
We're heading back.
But even the hotels we stayed in, it's like each one got a little nicer, and then
Really?
until we stayed in like the Big Dog Daddy there at the end, and I don't know, that's kind of feeling like
It was fancy.
I was feeling like Pretty Woman. I mean, when you go down for dinner and it's a 3-course meal, and you
People
have
are in tweed.
you've got all the
patches.
forks. And
I got my duds from a backpack here.
well, exactly, and that's just it. The people we were with, they're taking these great family vacations
Yeah.
together, so they would dress for dinner, and we'd come rolling down in what we'd worn in all
Here
day.
come the people from Missouri.
I brought one
We look
pair
like a
of
Simpsons
shoes.
character.
I brought one pair of shoes. I brought 2 pairs of jeans, and then I at least changed a shirt each day. I'm like, let's not get crazy now. We were gonna change the shirt.
Overachiever. All you
Yeah.
need is one pair of underwear.
Hey,
Oh,
they
my
ought to be
gosh.
glad you didn't come wearing like a giant barrel.
Yeah,
Cliffs of Moher. You went to Cliffs of Moher, right?
we did.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it
that was
That,
gorgeous.
yeah.
crazy windy that day.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
really windy, but no, it was absolutely beautiful. When you were saying, oh gosh, they really don't have that
They
big a
don't.
barrier.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of do. Like in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be like maybe part of a like barbed wire fence or something. No, I mean they had
Yeah,
things.
it's good size.
And they had all these signs saying basically, if you, went over the barrier that you would be
They're
in
hauling
huge-
you out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were kicking you out.
Oh, wow.
So,
Yeah.
nobody was doing that. But just looking beyond that, I'm like, who would crawl
Right.
over that?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
insane.
The edge is going
That's
down.
new though, because the thing is, they didn't have but like you could walk pretty close
Yeah.
to the point where you were like, "That's unstable ground."
Yeah.
Like again, they did have signage.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
come here, right? Like, do not step here. But
Well-
they did not have no barricades.
Like I told Clint, I said, I just kept thinking, my brain just kept screaming, erosion, erosion, erosion.
yeah.
Why
Sure.
would you cross the
Yeah.
barrier for
Yeah.
like the perfect shot?
The photo.
Yeah.
I guess some people are just they're going to risk it.
It's called
Yeah,
Zoom
no.
on your phone.
You look down and you go, "Whoa, that's not a fun fall." That would
No,
be."
they got a little splash.
Tell me if you found this among the people in Ireland. I get it, everybody's different. I get that. Every personality types and everything. We stayed at a bed and breakfast in Pedigo, the town that I was at for my ancestry work. I was meeting family I'd never met before. So we were at a bed and breakfast. It's called Avondale, and the proprietor, very, very nice lady named Mary Leonard. Okay, my wife and I get there. Apparently, there's nobody home, and there's no way to get in. I go next door. Lady opens the door. I say, "Excuse me, I'm a guest at the place next door." She goes, "You're American." I go, "Yeah." I go, "Hang on just a minute." She gets on the phone. She goes, "Hey, Mary, you got an American that's trying to come into your place next door." And she goes, I hear her say, "Oh, yeah, just tell him the key is blah, blah, blah." Okay.
Yeah.
So she had the key hidden for me. She tells me, but it was like no big deal. I was like, "Oh, yeah, we got an American visiting." They were just so cool about it.
That's right. You're American. You're not Irish.
But they all know each other. Like, "Oh, Mary, you got an American looking to get into your place." "Oh, yeah,
Right,
okay."
Well, I mean, again, everywhere we stayed, it was a hotel.
Right.
Everyone was super nice.
Yeah.
No.
But there was the second hotel that we stayed in when I walked in and thought, this is weird. There was one headboard, and they had done these like little bitty, maybe single beds, and they left about 6 inches in between. And I'm like, I got to share this room with my brother. It just
Sis,
should not
scoot
look
over.
like a 50s sitcom. It was all kinds of wrong.
I saw that post that you posted. Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
funny. I mean, like there was like this much space.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the Dick Van Dyke Show. There's Dick, there's Mary. You know.
Yeah. It's a little different, but it worked.
Hey,
We
it
made it
worked,
work.
it
We
worked.
made it work.
Erin
yeah.
said she had to be careful, like not to roll over too far.
Yeah,
You know.
or too fast because you would just floop
What was
right
your
into
favorite
the-
things that both of you did?
See, and everybody has asked us
That's
that, and
hard
that's
to
just it.
pinpoint.
It's hard to pinpoint.
It's hard to
because
say. It is. It is.
every
There's
day
so
was
much.
completely different, and we saw so much and learned so
How
much.
about just something that's cool that you would
Okay, this may sound
not necessarily the
morbid.
best, but just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, where the potato famine happened, okay? And something I had never seen before, but our bus driver, Mickey, he was awesome.
Yeah.
He was just so full of stories and
Yeah,
information.
yeah.
He's like, look up on the hills and you'll see the lines still
I
left.
saw that in the pictures. Yeah.
From the potato. I mean, so there were settlements everywhere. And it wasn't like a house, man. We're talking dug in the dirt.
yeah.
It's from the
and a little-
1840s.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
thatched top roof because they were poor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Living on a
And
potato.
Something
Yeah.
that at least I never realized is when you see all those little fences, the little stone fences,
Yeah.
I just thought, oh, they're keeping their livestock in or whatever. No, that meant that land was unfarmable. Like basically the famine ruined it.
Right.
You know, the disease
Yeah.
just ruined that ground.
The potato famine was a game changer because that's what drove emigration to the United States.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
And there are more people
Yeah.
living in more Irish
Yep.
living in the U.S. now than there are in Ireland. There have been for many years.
It's just not the most farmable land. Man.
No.
It's just not.
no, not
Yeah.
it's,
It's green, which is funny because
Yeah.
it rains so much
Right.
in Ireland.
Well, what was grass was like one of the number one, growing things.
Yeah,
yeah.
Or
That's right.
cattle and what have you. But I mean, they said they were raised to immigrate.
Yeah.
Once that happened, they were raised to immigrate.
They say it's kind of weird because now this generation is like the first generation that is not looking to leave.
Yeah, they're staying around.
Right, right.
And they can't find a place to live that's affordable because of people who have the immigrants there
Yeah.
with no place to live. And now kids are living at home, forever.
They
Yeah.
welcome people so much, actually. If you have Irish heritage, and I do, I think you have Irish,
Yeah.
right? You can become a citizen there. I mean, my father's side of the family was Irish, so I mean, I could go there and like immediately become. Aaron's like, oh, do it.
Do it.
Now I got a place to visit.
That's
Yeah,
right, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, it's pretty wild. And one of the things that we noticed is how different things taste. You know, something as simple as a Coca-Cola or a Sprite.
Yeah.
It tastes totally different. It's not as sweet.
Yeah.
Well, and one of the reasons why you kind of alluded to it on the show this morning,
Well, like we
the
got,
lack of.
well, some of the chemicals that
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
put in our food. Like we got
Crap.
M&Ms. We love M&Ms. And so, we'd say, oh, let's get some M&Ms for the flight, or let's do this or do that. Well, all the colors were kind of dull. And it's because
Yeah.
there's so many of the food coloring that's outlawed there that
yeah.
we still use.
It's natural.
Yeah.
It's natural coloring,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
This KATcast, we're recapping Erin's trip to Ireland with special guest, the person she went with. Her brother Clint is here. In case you're wondering, like, who's that guy?
Yeah. yeah. Well, and everybody was teasing us on the trip, calling us the newlyweds.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's not awkward.
No, exactly.
Well, we are from Missouri, but.
Like they thought that was hilarious to tease us about
Were
that
you
the whole
asked
time.
where you're from, like when you were out and about?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And what
Yeah.
did you say?
Missouri.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't say America. Good.
No,
I always
that's
say the
a Kevin
States.
Hillian.
I made that
States,
mistake.
yeah.
Where are you from? America. Duh. Oh, Missouri. Oh, I've heard of Missouri. Where is it? Oh, it's in the middle of the country. Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
it was
right.
weird. We went to this pub in Dingle, and this guy, was working
Dingle.
behind the
We
bar.
were looking for berries.
And anyway, he was getting us our drinks, and he's like, "Oh, where you guys from?" And we go, "Missouri." He goes, "Oh, Missouri." He goes, "Funny." He goes, "I used to, I followed a girl there and lived there for a while." And he goes, "Actually lived in this little town called Jefferson City."
Oh,
We're
my
like,
gosh.
"What?"
What?
No
Yeah,
way.
and then he turns around, and the sweatshirt he was wearing was from a bar in Sedalia.
Sedalia.
Get out.
Yeah, we're like, how weird.
Yeah.
And Twilight Zone-ish
That's
is this.
insane.
Yeah.
Well, we had a cab driver. I remember because we were talking to him. He had never been in the U.S. and it was hard to understand too. I don't know what nationality it was, but it was and I'm trying to tell him. I go, well, what do you know in America? He goes, oh, New York. I go, okay, what else? California. Okay, that's two things. He goes, That's about all I know. Okay, well, that's something anyway. Yeah,
Well, that'll work.
And he had no clue Missouri. He had never even heard of Missouri.
Yeah.
So.
Right. And if y'all are curious, the fella from Dingle,
Yeah.
they're no longer together.
That's right. They're no longer. They broke up.
Yeah. But they're what casual?
Was his? Yeah, they're good friends. It was his first name, David.
Dave, I think it was. Yeah.
David something like that. Yeah.
Now, what if they're watching this? They're going to go, you weren't supposed to tell anybody.
Gary, for the love of God.
Or they were like, we all had a moment. I can't believe you forgot our names. But no, we had a good time. And I think, kissing the Blarney Stone. First off, that's terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
So we went to Blarney Castle.
I haven't done that, but I didn't get to that part of the country. Is that Galway?
No, it's
Hang on, is it
Cork. Yeah,
He was in Cork?
Yeah.
or Killarney?
You were in Killarney, I know that.
Sure, Cork?
Cork.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's very
I'm pretty
confident
sure.
about it, the way he's saying it. Okay.
I phoned in a line.
The wife is over there, too.
over in the
She's
corner.
like, yeah.
Okay.
Well, you got to be somewhat limber, man, because that stone is.
I saw the
You
pictures.
lie on the back, and it's.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's way down.
So
there.
is somebody
Yeah.
holding your legs while you're doing that?
and then
So-
you got some bars to hang on to, you know.
You
Yeah.
go up, what did he say, like 120 some steps. And what's crazy about these steps is not only do they spiral, but some of them are like 6 inches. Some of them are 9 inches.
They're
Some of them are like a foot and a little over.
gosh.
And they're all kind of jumbled up. And that was kind of
It's all
like
janky, yeah.
like a
for
technique.
fighting.
Yeah, a technique they use because they were used to it, but their opponents wouldn't be. So as they're,
You
sword
lose your
fighting and whatnot,
footing.
you'd lose your footing and
Yeah.
fall.
Now, supposedly, when you kiss the Blarney Stone, it's supposed to give you, what, the gift of gab? Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Eloquence, yes.
Eloquence, yes.
Yes.
Do you feel more eloquent now?
No,
No.
not really.
I'd say you've lost a step
No,
personally,
Mike.
but
Now, in true Erin Klutz fashion, I did fall up the last of the steps of the castle and fell right.
Cat Country remembers Erin Hart.
Well,
Yes.
I fell into a flat surface, but both my knees. I'm telling you, my left knee. I was like, oh man, this is
Man,
the
a
worst.
vacation-related injury.
Yeah.
I thought she found a 4-leaf clover. I'm like, what you got down there? 4-leaf
Not on
clover?
the stone. Yeah.
Did you bring anything back with you, like souvenir-wise, like a stone or anything? Or?
Nothing like we stole.
No, I mean,
I was gonna say, are you
I
trying to
actually
ask
have the
if we
Blarney Stone right here.
Actually, right?
Yeah.
Chiseled a piece
we
off.
brought back the Blarney Stone. Oh yeah, I got it out in the trunk. Yeah.
Well, what was crazy is, a lot of people were talking about, what it would be like to live in a castle that long ago. And it was just cold enough and just windy enough to where you kind of got an idea as you were walking through everything. No, it's not an experience I think anybody would want to actually live there.
And when you got to go to the bathroom, it shows, and it's just a hole that just goes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you did the castle thing, Jordan,
did,
right?
yeah.
We didn't do any of the castle stuff, which is that was
you should have.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was incredibly cool.
We were there because ours was also a part trip to England, and so we had to divide the time. So we were in Ireland itself for like 6 days, and we divided that up with Northern Ireland as well because that's where family was. But I mean, I would definitely want to see more of the country next time. Like I said, the places where you were, the coastline.
Yeah.
things. We did Dublin.
Yeah.
But the Guinness factory and
when we loved our tour guide, he
Yeah.
was great. But like the second day, we were the last ones on the bus, and that very first day we sat at the very front seat. And like the second day we sat there, and like he got mad, like kind of yelled at us because we took a prime seat, and it's like everybody else already got on, and they chose their seat.
Yeah,
and
what-
so we're like, great, we're on the list. You know?
We're the ugly Americans. Great.
Exactly. So, it wasn't until we actually got ready to leave that we realized, he thought we were A-okay, but it didn't feel like it that day.
I got an extra Guinness ticket, so I got an extra Guinness at the top of the Guinness factory.
Yeah,
Nice.
which, by the way, the Guinness, was it storehouse? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Or is it the factory?
They call it the storehouse.
So it's like 7 stories tall.
Yeah, it's
like,
huge. And it's got all the memorabilia in
It
it,
is
like
the
all the
most-
old commercial stuff. It's super
Yeah,
cool.
It's the most
Great.
elaborate, brewery tour I've ever taken. And
How
I've
about
taken
that?
a few.
It's quite the experience.
So,
It's-
but here's Clint and I, here we are from the Midwest. Here's the big fountain, it's raining down, it's all beautiful and everything. And then all of a sudden it starts spelling out like Guinness. And then you see the heart.
Yeah.
And it's all in water. It's a water sculpture. And we're all like, hell, you think they did that? That's amazing.
Magic.
Like, yeah, we were all into it.
Leprechauns, I tell you.
And
Fairies.
This kid who was with his parents, and I say kid, he was like 28, 29, super nice guy named Kevin, real smart.
Super smart.
Of course, he was like, well, it's just a simple computer program, and he's
Wow.
he's all explaining it to
You
us.
found the Irish nerd.
And we're all like, water's cool. What can do? Yeah,
Did you eat at the Guinness Storehouse?
Yeah, did you?
we had
no.
a pretzel.
Oh, we had a pretzel, yeah.
Okay.
They have like
A pretzel with
they have-
beer cheese.
They have flavored Guinness chips. You can buy like chips that have like Guinness flavoring
So
on it.
what we can't reiterate enough is that we ate so much on this trip. We were so well fed.
Oh, yeah.
It got to the point there were a couple of nights that we're back in our rooms and we are so uncomfortably bloated
yeah, yeah,
from
yeah.
everything we had eaten that we were just miserable.
I was like, why?
And it took hours to go to sleep.
One of the highlights of the Storehouse for us was, we as I said, we ate there, and we actually had a whole meal. We had a pot, what do you call it? Beef stew.
Shepherd's
It was
pie.
delicious,
Oh,
yeah. But we were sitting at the window. Looking out, and the window was kind of cracked half open, and there's seagulls out there right at the window begging, and I was dropping food down for them to eat.
And we wonder why.
We took a train from Dublin. We went to this little fishing village called Holt.
Yes.
And so they had like some of the best fish and chips. Like,
Oh,
the
fish and
I
chips.
had some fish and chips. The dude
Yes.
literally, he's like, I caught that fish like 40 minutes ago.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
this
It's
is
as
real
fresh as it
fresh.
gets,
It's so good. But there, we had tons of seagulls
Yeah.
too, right? And I mindlessly, I was just feeding him a couple pieces. Or
Right.
whatever. Didn't realize, but there's like some Irish guy. He was just trying to leave his home.
Right.
And I had thrown, and this army of
He's being
seagulls.
inundated
And I know the guy's probably like, tourists.
The tourists are here.
Alfred
Nice.
Hitchcock all over again.
Yeah, the first 2 nights we stayed in Galway, and that was something I wasn't used to was the sound of seagulls.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they were
Right out the window.
all the time.
I grew up with seagulls in Jersey, and I mean, they're very aggressive birds. I mean, you throw one piece, like if you're on the sand at the beach, you throw one piece of food, one comes out, and then another, and they just engulf
Swarm
you.
you, yeah.
And they'll stand there looking at you going, like, hey, back up, Jack.
My grandpa used to feed him Doritos. He'd hold Doritos in his
yeah.
fingers, and seagulls would come swooping down, take the Doritos out of his hand.
We were walking on the boardwalk in Jersey once, a bit of a divergence here, but my son-in-law, I had a son-in-law who was eating a slice of pizza. He had this bird came right down, swooped it right out of his hand. While he was
fought that
walking,
bird.
took amazing, just
I'd have
amazing.
fought that bird. You don't take my pizza.
Yeah.
we did get lost a few times. We were trying to find this place that was supposed to have amazing shepherd's pie in Galway.
yeah.
We finally found it, but it took us a while because
It took us 5 extra pubs to find it.
It took us forever to find the
Well,
Guinness, like the same
Yeah.
Guinness, like because you kind of got to go back way to
Yeah.
get there. So we're like, how do we get?
See,
here?
I knew we'd get the skinny on the pubs from Clint. I just knew it.
Well, because in most of the bars you could go and you could ask, or they'd have signs saying, "Hey, our Wi-Fi password's this."
Yeah.
So Google Maps wouldn't work for us unless we were connected to the Wi-Fi. Even though I had this international
Really?
package and everything, I guess I didn't have like international internet
GPS,
or whatever,
yeah, or
which
something.
was fine. So we would start walking and get kind of lost on these little back alleyways and stuff. And we're like, all right, we gotta find a pub and we gotta get a drink, and then we got.
Well,
Do you have
nothing
Wi-Fi?
was straight.
Yeah.
All the roads were like this, So,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it would change 4 times. And so
The name of it, yeah.
It's not like 3 blocks up,
Right.
1 block
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the streets are a little weird too, because like they don't exactly like the signage. It's normally like on the buildings, isn't it? They don't really have. You're looking for street signs, and you
Right.
go, what street am I
Right.
on?
And everything's in Gaelic
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yes, yes.
Gaelic and English.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
that's by law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah.
street signs have to be
Yeah.
in both languages.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
something you asked earlier about one of my favorite things, that potato ham, and just to see the lines and to think of the history. But also, we were in Athlone, Ireland, that has the oldest pub, Sean's Pub, 900 AD. Now,
Oldest
that's
pub in the
cool.
world, not just
Yeah.
Ireland, but in
Wow.
the
In the
world.
world,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the world, okay? But then you
So
walk
back
out.
to like Roman times or something,
yeah.
probably. Yeah.
900 AD.
Wow.
And then you walk out, and then here's a fortress from the 1200s. So, I mean, you talk about just being immersed in history.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, Darky Kelly's wasn't quite
yes.
that old,
Right.
but, you know.
Well, I mean, and that's what's crazy because here in America, we don't have anything other than maybe a couple 100 years old.
Yeah.
maybe.
Oh yeah, I know.
You know, and it's just crazy there that they have all of these, not only just, pubs, but
Yeah.
I mean, some of the hotels we were staying in were crazy old, from 17 whatever.
There's a lot of you just feel like you're a part of the history when
true.
You're drinking and you're like, man, how many other people drank at this pub? You just think years and years of people
instead
enjoying
of tearing
themselves.
something down and building something new, even if it's old and crumbling, they embrace it, they patch it up, and away we go. And I just think that's
years ago.
cool.
A friend of mine from England, many years ago, I was telling him about, this particular house is like 320 years old, something like that. He goes, oh, that's so old.
Yeah.
So when you guys were there, did you have any problems understanding people? Like,
especially when you
the
get
accent and all.
a place that's crowded.
The
other
thick
noise.
accent,
What?
If you're having a one-on-one conversation, I never had a problem. But like Clint said, if you're in a crowded area where there's multiple people laughing, yelling, it gets tough to just because you got all these accents everywhere, and you're trying to I need to pick out the words you're saying. I'm trying to
Right.
And Mickey would cut his accent down a little bit, and he told you so you could understand.
And he talked a little slower,
But
maybe.
you get into a pub, and there's this old dude got a great story, and I'm just wanting to hear it.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, do you see it?" And I'm, what is it, miss? And
You're like, did I miss the good part? What?
Yeah, there's a lot of things we nodded and probably
exactly.
that we
I
had no
agreed to
idea.
so much. I have no idea what I've agreed to.
I was telling you, our trip, part of it was I was meeting cousins that I had never met before. And my cousin's wife, Maureen, who was just delightful, she hosted us for a couple of nights while we were there. So there's my wife and I. You got to remember, I'm from Jersey. My wife's from Philly. My wife still has very much a pretty strong Philly accent. So Maureen, my cousin, she says to me, we're all sitting around the living room just chatting, and she says, I have to tell you, I'm pretty much picking up what you're saying, Kevin, but I'm only understanding about half of what your wife is saying. It's Philly. I don't know what to tell you. See, because I've kind of adapted for being on the radio all these years, and I've sort of
also
dropped a lot of the
how
local
strange
accent.
is it when you're the one with the accent?
I know.
When you go over somewhere where you're the one that stands out, because you're just like, oh, I'm that person now,
Right,
because everyone's like, you sound so funny.
I know. It's true. It's very true. Yeah.
It's almost like a comedy act. I like your accent. Well, I like your accent. Well, I like your accent.
I know. It's bad. Yeah.
But it's true. If you get, especially like Clint was saying, if you get like an old guy who's he's like 75, 80 years old or whatever. He's not adapting. He's just talking the way he talks.
Yeah.
And you're
he's got his
hoping
slang just like we all do.
you're hoping you can pick up 1/3 of what he says. So you can
And that's the thing too. You speak to some, a lot of the older Irish people too. They still they use English and Gaelic. They kind of infuse both together. So then you're kind of like, whoa, I understood some of what you said. What's the
Yeah, we'd go back to our room either just to kind of relax a little bit, or if it was like after a really stuffing dinner.
Oh yeah.
So we'd sit there and we'd be flipping through the channels, and we'd land on one that was all in Gaelic, and we're like, no clue, no idea what
How
they're
about
saying.
that?
None.
That's
and,
great.
And that's where I found my new favorite game show, The Chase.
The Chase. I'm gonna say.
Erin showed me a clip of that today. It actually looks really good.
She was staying in some nights. No, I'm good. Watching The Chase.
Wait a minute. You're in Ireland. You're staying watching TV?
I don't want to go out tonight. The Chase is on.
Exactly. I'm like, I'm going to digest time and watch The Chase.
I will tell you though, Erin gave me a piece of advice that, and we're going to go back. My wife and I, we've already said, it's funny. Let me just back up for just a second. She was like, when we first went, she was like, this is really your dream trip. This is your bucket list item. I get it. She goes, I'll enjoy it, but but she didn't really expect to have a good time.
Right.
When we came back from Ireland, she's like, I didn't think I was going to like it. I want to go back again someday.
Oh,
I was like, okay. Erin gave me a great piece of advice. I wish we had done this. The eSIM for the phone.
Oh, yeah.
Because we didn't get it. And so everywhere we went, I had to depend on Wi-Fi, and then I could only communicate by way of Facebook Messenger. The way she was able to text me, and we talked a couple times, just as if she was right down the street. I love that. That's how I wish we had done.
With the parents, being 80 each, you never know if and when something's going to happen. And also, the husband just had knee surgery 2 weeks prior to us leaving. I'm like, if something were to go wrong,
you need to be able to get in touch right away.
I don't want to see a Facebook message that somebody sent me hours later or hours earlier when I finally connect to Wi-Fi somewhere. So that was.
And my daughter did the
choice.
same thing to eSIM when she was in Japan and South Korea. And again, like you're right down the street. That's what I wish we had done.
But I got an old phone. I got an old, and I couldn't get it.
You couldn't use an eSIM on yours.
Really? My dear wife tried to help me. And,
Thank God your sister did.
Yeah. One of us, thank goodness.
Yeah, exactly.
Erin
Probably a good idea for one of us.
Erin to the rescue. There you go.
But no, I mean, and if Mom ever sees this, Mom, not only did I share my food, but Clint ran out of euros, so I helped him with that as well.
What? I had money.
Now, see,
You gave me a 50.
I gave you 50
euros. She's like, I ain't going to spend it all.
We brought some euros back with us, and I got to tell you, though, I had no idea what the currencies were. So, well, not just, I mean, I didn't know. So, okay, that's going to be 282. I'd show all my money. Could you pick it out of here? I don't know what this is.
She's like, $4.
I was going to say.
I was totally trusting. I had no idea. Fortunately, they were honest.
Once, it got pretty easy, to do that. Yeah.
There are people who will use the language barrier. Now, not in Ireland so much, but like I said, we went to England and we were in France, too. Mm-hmm. And there was this guy in Paris. We were going to take this tour cruise thing, and the little pedal taxis.
Yep.
Yeah.
He had us on there, and I go, "How much is it going to be?" He goes, $35. Okay, 35 for two? Yes. So we're each going to pay $35.
All right.
No, we're going to pay $35 for both of us, right? Yes, that's correct. Okay. We get there and we gave 70. I go, no. We just said 35 for two. No, 35 each. So I gave it to him, but I said, he knew everything he was saying. He was just using the language barrier.
Got better at the end.
Exactly.
Oh, now you know how to say it.
Well, Lily, sorry you got ripped off. That didn't happen to us.
That was France. France, okay?
France a little
So
harder.
I'm just a little salty about France, just so you know. Okay? Well, this is fun, you guys. This is really...
Yeah, thank you.
This has been a great KATcast.
Yeah.
And Clint, thanks for
thanks for having me.
Thanks for being our special guest here today.
Yeah.
Hey, Erin, thanks for bringing your brother in.
Well, and what's funny is, we didn't even touch on a quarter of the stories or things that we saw.
Yeah.
Which
That's why you have to listen to Hilly and Hart. We'll share
crazy.
more there. Yeah.
There you go.
Good plug for the show.
Yeah, but no, the husband was like, he goes, I missed you like crazy. He goes, but it looked like you guys were having fun. And we did. We had a really good, really good trip.
Yeah. It's I was so looking forward to your stories when you got back.
And after a week and 2 days, we're still not sick of each other.
Yeah, it's a good
We're
test.
pretty good.
Yeah, it worked out.
It's a good test.
Yeah.
It would have been bad if you were like, you know what? Never mind. Don't come on this KATcast.
I'm out here anyway.
I'm already sick of you. You know.
I was gonna say. I think somebody asked me, well, what was the worst part of the trip? The worst part was the flight from Chicago to St. Louis, just because the turbulence was so bad. Which that's not the pilot's fault.
No.
Anyway.
Well, we drove to Chicago to O'Hare, and I had never driven to Chicago in my life. I had never been in Chicago in my life.
Right.
And it's a long trip. That's not so much of it. It's just like the tolls, because there are no toll booths.
Yeah.
Right.
You just get a bill when you get home, and I'm only used to doing that if you've skipped a toll somehow, you know.
Yeah.
But it was no penalty or anything. You're just like, pay your toll now.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess this is not too bad. You just keep driving. That way you don't have to stop. You know.
It's kind of nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were pretty slap happy from driving from St. Louis back to town. And at one point, I actually said to Clint, I go, you're going to have to let me know when the Kingdom City exit pops up, because I've been known to be talking.
Yeah.
And go right past
Isn't
that.
it nice when you see Kingdom City? That's almost like, you're almost home.
home.
Kicking off another little piece.
Start seeing that sign. All right.
Exactly.
Well, thanks, you guys. This was fun.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
There
Thank
you
you.
go.
Thank you. Thank you.
And if you ever want to say hi, we'd love to hear from you. It's it's catzimmer@mailzimmer.com.
Yeah. And if you ever want to send Clint and I on another trip,
there is a GoFundMe page. And that is our special Irish recap edition
Top of the morning.
of the Cat Country. What's in that cup? of the Cat Country KATcast.